Welcome to the teleconferencing session on the postgraduate diploma in journalism and mass communication. And today we'll be discussing on the broad topic on advertising and public relations. And we have with us Ms. Padmini Jain. She's assistant professor in the School of Journalism and New Media Studies. She'll be continuing the discussion she had 2 months back, in fact, on advertising and its impact on the public relations scenario. So welcome, Padmini, and I request her to continue her discussion.
Thank you, Ranjit. Hello, friends. Last time, if you remember, we already had a discussion begun on types or forms of advertising. We had done some 4 forms of advertising last time, and today I would like to wind up the discussion continuing from the last time. So let me have a quick recap of what we did last time. Last time we talked of the kinds of advertising, and we had discussed that there can be different classifications based on the criteria that you choose. So first we had discussed there can be different classifications of advertising based on the media in which they are advertised. There can be television ads, print ads, newspapers and magazines are types of print ads. Then we had gone on to see that there can be radio ads, of course, and along with this we had also seen the plus and the minus, that is the advantages and the weaknesses of all these kinds of advertising. Then there are cinema ads, there are television ads. If you can recall, we had seen many of these ads. Then there is another kind which is outdoor, which was of 2 types, transit and static, that is the ones that stand and ones that they move. Then there is another kind of media which is internet. We had some 5-6 types of advertising discussed on internet as a medium. The second categorization was based on the way of presentation. On that we had discussed print, where there can be 3 kinds of classifications, that is classified ads, display ads and display classified ads, or classified display, whatever you. The third classification can be based on the content, that is only copy, ads which have only copy and nothing else, ads which have only picture, and there are mixed ads which have picture and copy both. You can, as a review, see these on your television screens. Then there was a 4th classification based on the purpose. One was the product advertising, where we want to tell about the product, the positives and the negatives of the product, and we want the people or the customers to buy these products. Then there were institutional ads, where you advertise a company or an institution. The third was the public service advertisements, which sell an idea, not a product or a service. Then we had discussed public service advertising in detail. We had also seen certain examples, that is immunization and polio, certain radio and television ads we had heard. Today now let us go to the next category of advertising, which is the 5th category. We are continuing from the last time. As you can see, this is the style based ad. There are 2 styles of advertising. One is direct advertising, another is surrogate advertising. Direct is like all other ads we have discussed earlier, where you directly advertising the product. You are not scared of anything. You wish to tell your customers, this is my product, you should buy it, and these are the reasons you should buy it for. Either you advertise based on the product features, or you may choose to advertise based on the price which is low, or any other unique thing, whatever your USP. However, another kind is surrogate advertising, where you are scared to advertise the product because this product is banned. These are used for kind of products like alcohol and nowadays even tobacco, because even tobacco advertising has been recently banned. Here you do not advertise your product directly. However, you talk about some other product and veil it with your original product. You also have seen examples like we talk of Hayward's soda or Kingfisher mineral water, McDowell's CD or Seagram's Men Will Be Men ads. We all know what their advertising is, not the CD or the mineral water or men per se. They are advertising beers, whiskies or other alcoholic products, but they are not calling it so. So this is surrogate advertising. However, there are certain conditions which surrogate advertisers have to adhere to. The product that they advertise, for example, they say McDowell's CD. These CDs have actually to be available in the market and have certain kind of sale to which they must reach. So these products cannot just be said to exist, but they have actually got to exist. So these are the kinds of advertising that we have. You can on your screen see this ad, which is about Johnny Walker. This is again an alcoholic brand, but we do not talk of this alcohol anywhere. We present it as a motivational campaign, that is keep walking, or something which is knocking off the tea out of cant. Now let us come to the next category of advertising, which is based on the coverage, the area that you cover. Based on that, you can have different ways or categories of advertising. The first is local ads. These local ads are very local, as in they cater only to your specific region. This can be a colony, a specific area, or a very small geographical entity. For example, when you go to Punjab or Haryana, you see these ads for Shahi Dawakhana, which talk of certain skin diseases or maybe certain child care things, which are very, very local. These clinics exist only in that area. These ads come through pamphlets in newspapers or wall writings in certain geographical area. When you progress a little, you have regional campaigns, which can be on a particular state. A whole state would be covered, or a particular region would be covered through these ads. They have a little more reach than the local ads. You can have advertising through radio channels or even the regional vernacular newspapers for regional products. So these are, for example, you have a state which is Punjab, which is agriculture based. So you want to advertise for a particular fertilizer which must reach only to that agricultural community. So this can be done through the radio or through vernacular papers again, or again maybe road writings or outdoor advertising. However, the local ones would only be covered through newspaper pamphlets or maybe a rickshaw which is announcing certain things. These would be the categorization. Then you have national and international ads. Let us look at a local ad first. This is a pamphlet for an inverter battery which is available in a particular city or maybe just a colony. Then we have regional ad. This was an example for a regional ad where you have in a particular dialect or a language certain village people who are discussing things. So this can be relayed in that particular area. Now let us come to a national ad. You can see an example and then I'll explain it to you.
बेस्ट है मेरे लिए.
Okay friends, this was an ad for BSNL. So you could see that this is something which caters to the national audience. It caters to not only a particular state but to many states. So you had an actress who acts in national movies, which she's a brand ambassador for this brand. Then you have a brand, therefore the advertising became national. Now you also have global ads. These ads are, for example, you've seen ads for IBM ThinkPads, which are given in a similar manner of a Singapore Airlines, Dubai shopping festivals or Malaysian festivals. All these are supposed to be global ads. They must cater to the global audience. So one ad is made and no alterations are made in this ad. However, it goes to whole of there are many countries where this product is reaching. I'll give you an example of a global ad which is a product based ad.
Do you dare? L'Oreal's first two-step volume construction mascara. 1. High definition base for a super structure effect. 2. Breakthrough reservoir comb for extreme volume. Mind-blowing. 12 times more volume for your lashes. Volume. Shocking. New two-step volume shocking mascara from L'Oreal Paris.
Dare to shock? You're worth it.
Now, this is a global product. This is L'Oreal, which is available not in one country but many countries around the world. Then they chose a brand ambassador who is known around the world. She's an Indian, but she has a global appeal. So this ad was also made in a language which is globally understood. So this is a global ad, or per se. Now you can categorize these as local, regional, national or global based on the various geographical areas that they cover. More the coverage, more enhanced the ad actually becomes, and so does its effects. Now let us come to the next category, which is the 7th category, which is the source based advertising. When you have different sources advertising for a product, then the categorization becomes, hence this is a company based ad. A company manufactures a particular brand or a product and it advertises for it particularly. For example, L'Oreal was advertising only for its product in your previous example that you saw, or in last examples that we saw, there was Bajaj, there was Wheel, there was Amul. All these are company based ads. Only the Amul company is advertising for Amul. Nestle will not advertise for Amul. Nestle will advertise for something else, right? So these are company based ads. Next comes the group of companies where you do not advertise a particular product. You a particular brand, you advertise a product. For example, the Gold Council of India. What are you advertising? Not Tanishq, not Jilly, but Gold. Or Tea Corporation of India. You do not advertise for Tata Tea or Taj Mahal. You advertise for tea per se, that tea has these advantages, you should have tea. The Sugar Board of India or the Egg Corporation. So when you advertise for egg, for jute, for sugar, for tea, for gold, for diamond, for example, Hira hai sada ke liye. This is talking about diamond, not a particular diamond brand. So these ads are given by groups of companies. They might be different competitors in their areas, but when they get together, they give these ads together. Next categorization is the source is government. When the government gives ads, these are usually given out through DAVP, that is Directorate for Audiovisual Publicity. These are not selling you something for their own interest, but something where it should be a public good. For example, all those public service advertisements that we saw, they were all given out by the government. Then you have another category, which is political parties. So they can be political parties which are in power at a particular time or which are outside power, but they advertise for themselves. For instance, you had this BJP advertising as India Shining, but it was not an India campaign, but a BJP campaign. Now in your examples, you will see a Congress campaign. Now focus on your screens, you can see these ads.
जरा सी अनबन प्यार जरा सा The taste of India बनाते हर पल को हर पल मस्ती का अमूल The taste of India यही तो अमूल भैया स्वाद इंडिया का अमूल the taste of India अमूल the taste of India अमूल the taste of India.
Well friends, I hope now you get the difference between a company based ad and the product ad that we discussed in the previous category. If it were a product categorized ad, then you would have Amul ice cream or Amul chocolate or Amul paneer or Amul ghee being advertised. But here this was a company based ad, so this was an ad given out by the company for all its products. So it was a brand ad, not a product ad. Now let's see examples of groups of company ad. This is an ad by Tea Board of India. They are giving you ad for tea, not a particular brand of tea, but tea as a product. This is again a Tea Board of India ad. Let us come to this one. This is a government ad. Well, a brilliantly made ad. But who paid for this? The government of India, not a particular company or a group of company. So the source was the government. The next is a political party ad. This is a print campaign that you can see on your screens. This is an ad by the Congress party for itself. Not for the country, not for any particular product, not for a service, did not it collaborate with another company, but it is just a political party ad where they advertise about themselves and they play down upon other parties. So I think you get the sources, the 4 sources that we discussed. Now we have time and we can move on to the next category of ads. These are the life cycle based ads. The first is the pioneering ads. When a product is very new in its life cycle, you have all read it in your marketing papers that a product goes through different life cycles. When a product is just introduced in the market and people do not know about it, then you have pioneering ads. And for pioneers, teaser ads are the best. For example, you had these huge hoardings in your cities which said hi. And you were just discussing in your drawing rooms, what is this hi? And later it came out to be a mobile brand. It came out to be a cellular service brand which was Hutch. Or the roads in Delhi were painted all red and white and it just said have a break. It said nothing else. A product was yet to be introduced which was Kit Kat. And later, after about a month of these have a break white and red paintings, they introduced have a break, have a Kit Kat. So these teaser campaigns are the best. When a product is in the pioneering stages, it is just to be introduced into the market. You had other things like Digen Verma ads for Fruity or Pepsi TV ads where the people are just kept guessing. So this is a good strategy because people are not introduced to the product, they would have certain curiosity. For example, the hottest little thing in town was Maruti Alto, but it was revealed after about 2 months of this hottest little thing. So people had imagined all kinds of things. Is it a clothes brand? Is it something to eat? Is it a chili restaurant? What is it? What is hot about it? Little did they know that there would be a little car which would be launched later. So these are pioneering ads.
How long will you continue with the pioneering ads? For example, it's for 1 month, 1 week, or
it is usually when the product is known in the market. So once you've launched it, until it has more competition, till people are accepting it, it is not about the time duration more, it is about the sales. When the sales start picking and the people have accepted these ads. Now that you've raised this question, for example, these hair colors were launched in India. In India, usually the thing is which is said to be good is black hair. Nobody was dying to paint their hair burgundy or red or blue. But these were just pioneered into the thing. And slowly and gradually when the sales picked up, when people had a knack of these things, then they would stop these ads and they would move into another category.
So it will be based on some research done, like?
It would be based upon the sales department feedback.
Okay.
So after these products have been introduced and they've been accepted by the public, now you give out information that why is this product good? Now, okay, this was a product, why should you have it? Because there are many others who are actually selling it, why should you have it? So these are the informative ads. For example, this all-out campaign that comes on your television, all out ab keval 35 minute mein, 35 rupees mein. This thing comes for 30 seconds or rather 10 seconds and it just goes off. Or fena hi lena. So these are when you're informing them that ab 99% औरतें सलाह देंगी sunsilk की. So you're informing them, this is good. For example, these Dove ads are informative ads. My skin feels so good. You're informing the public this is happening with this product, so kindly go and buy it. Let us see a example. This is a pioneering ad. This is for Bajaj scooters. When India was graduating from cycle to scooters. So at that time, how did they talk about the scooter?
ये ज़मीं ये आसमां, हाँ, ये ज़मीं ये आसमां, हमारा कल हमारा आज, हमारा कल हमारा आज, बुलंद भारत की बुलंद तस्वीर, हमारा बजाज बुलंद भारत की बुलंद तस्वीर, हमारा बजाज
Now this was a pioneering ad for a scooter. What would be the next stage? The information. Now if you remember, where did Bajaj scooters graduate? Then they graduated to, in these installments you can actually have this scooter. Now they've created a niche for themselves. They've created a space in your heart and mind for their product. Now they would inform you how you can buy their product. Next would be why you should buy their product and not something else. Not only the scooter, now many other people came out with scooters. Kinetic was one, Bajaj was another. Then you had so many scooters coming out. Now you want to persuade your audience. You want to keep them to your product. So these are the persuasive ads. For example, the wheel or surf. They are all there, but now they persuade you to buy. Fena hi lena, ya Nirma ki tikya taiyar hai. All these ads are there which are persuasive. You have next category which is competitive. Now people are buying it. There are many competitors there. There are products from different brands. Soft drinks, for instance. There is Pepsi, there is Coke, there is Thumbs Up. And now you have to have this competition to be downplayed and your own product to be advertised much above that. So this is the thing when you do it. Let me give you some examples. Between Pepsi and Coke, we've all seen these dirty wars going. So a line of ethics is usually crossed when you have these competitions going on. There is Move and there is Iodex. Both of them are creams, or these are just ointments for soothing your aches. So now when Move is to be launched and there is already Iodex which is existing in people's mind, what do they say? Moj wala kala malham. So they do not refer to Iodex by name, but you all know this reference is going there. Nirma ki tikya pani mein reh ke bhi kam gale, zyada chale aur zyada kapde dhoye. What is it? They are indirectly referring to Rin. So when you have to take market away from your competition, whether it is Rin and Nirma, whether it is Pepsi and Coke, or it is Iodex and Move. So this is these competitive ads.
I have one question here.
Let's see an ad and I'll take your question.
Okay, fine. Yeah.
What is the question? You finish by 45.
मैं सांस लेता हूँ, तेरी खुशबू आती है, एक महका महका सा पैगाम लाता
एक महकती खुशबू के साथ नया व्हील, सफाई दिखे ही नहीं महके भी।
अरे आप गए नहीं?
पल पल नया खुशबूदार व्हील, महंगी वाली धुलाई बजट में समाई।
Now this is an example of all these things taken together. They are informing you about their cost, that it is inside into your budget. They are also giving you a certain edge over their competition, which is the fragrance which is they have added into wheel, which other detergents won't give. Okay, yes.
In fact, that is why I was wondering actually. You said about the there is a pioneering ad and persuasive ad and competitive ad. I don't know whether I'm not right or not. All ads have that persuasive and competitive element inbuilt into it. Even if you look at a pioneering ad, say for example, it is persuasive in nature and even competitive. So how far this conflation of various forms of thing could be there in.
You're very correct in saying, and I think you've got the point really there. They don't have watertight compartments. You can't just say my product is being launched for first 1 year I will run this persuasive ad, then I will move on to competitive and I will not give information, because you can't have these watertight compartments. Some brands have their same ads running for last 10 years. But as the competition progresses, you always have to change those ads. So those features would exist. They would all be inbuilt. But yeah, the basic motive would be different. For example, the teaser ads are just for launching the product. Slowly, if you take Airtel for example, Airtel is being launched first. Then they talk about their service. Okay, we have this network which goes everywhere. Now they're talking about the reduced call rates, which is competitive. Now they don't talk about their network anymore, do they? If you remember, they talked about the network in earlier days when they had to inform. Now it is all competition based and that network thing is known. So now they actually focus only on the competitive element. But of course the persuasion would always be built in, because as it goes by the advertising definition, it is a persuasive means. So that has to be there. But then as your product is categorizing, it is progressing further, your sales figures are increasing and other competitors are entering, the ads have to be a little demarcate, they have to be a little marginalized to that category.
So how will you decide actually? Is it based on any in-depth research done by any?
It is based on the market. Advertising is not an art for pleasure. It is always a money-based thing. There are always hammers ringing on your head when they say, okay, these sales are not picking up, change your ad. So it is always based on the sales and the
ongoing
competition.
Research would be on
that ongoing market research is always there to assess the advertising people. So this is a creative thing along with the market. Okay friends, now we have all seen these ads which was pure ads. You could detect that these are the ads. Now let me come to something which is almost my favorite, the below the line advertising, where you have advertisements but you don't say that these are advertisements. Now I will just give you little examples for each of these categories. First is direct mailers. For example, you've bought this Maruti 800 recently. Now you don't anymore buy Maruti 800, you buy bigger cars, any car that you've bought. And then you get a mail from these people after say 6 months. You are a valued customer. We are very glad that you bought this car, and now we are coming out with another model, and because you are a valued customer, we will give you a discount on this car this much. You say, wow, I am this valued customer and these people are so sweet to send me mails. Actually what they are doing is they are sending in their advertisement through direct mailer. So they are advertising their new car to you. So these are the direct mailers which you get. Magazines like Reader's Digest and all send a lot of direct mailers. Next is the point of purchase advertising. For example, you go into a shop and your mother has asked you to get you a shampoo. So she says, okay, get me a Sunsilk shampoo, and you go on into that shop. Suddenly when you enter that grocery store, there are these big strips of Clinic Plus hanging there, and you ask this person what is this. He says, oh, this is this new shampoo brand which has come up, and it is, from your usual brand, this is a little cheaper. This is ₹1, that is ₹2. So you immediately change your mind. You say, okay, why don't I buy this? So all that advertising that Sunsilk people did on your TV sets or your radio or your television or newspaper, this suddenly goes bang, and this point of purchase works. These days all these multi-facility stores and all, you have these shops. So what is done is, all these children, if you go today, you go out and you must notice all these children brands are placed low. There would be Maggie, there would be 5-star, there would be these candies. So there's those little kids who are coming to these stores with their parents. They would go crying and whooping, okay, mama, I want this brand. They are just placed at their eye level. This is the point of purchase advertising. You've not made your mind, this does not exist in your grocery list, but you go there and just suddenly end up buying it. Then there are seminars. There are these seminars by MIT or RAI Foundation. This is educational seminar. What are they doing? They are in turn advertising themselves. You go there and then you tell 10 of your friends, I went to this RAI Foundation seminar, it was wonderful. What have you done? You've given them a word of mouth advertising without even realizing it. Then there are other things like free trials. For example, Sunsilk was launching its conditioners. So what they did, they were standing outside malls with a little camp was made. Any girl who would come in, they would say, okay, why don't we give your hair a fresh wash, and we would show you a new conditioner, and they would give you certain freebies with it, like certain combs or clutches, and you would come back home and you would look at that comb and every time remember those good, wonderful Sunsilk people who gave you a free hair wash, and you would then go and buy it. So these free trials or freebies are again a kind of advertising. Then you have these packaging materials. You've all received sweet box for weddings. Did you get sweet box for certain weddings, Sanjeev?
Yeah, obviously.
Yes, you did. So you ate something and you said, wow, this is very tasty. And then you suddenly, this sweet box person has done, over there he's mentioned his sweet, the sweet shop name. So you said, okay, this is Bikaner Sweets. Next time when I go, I'm pakka se going to go to this shop and I'll buy it. So this was a advertising which this person has done through packaging. Or all our lives we carry these great bags, Benetton bags. Or we carry these Shopper Stop bags. So somebody is carrying it and somebody else is looking at it. Without even realizing it, you have been advertising it for them. You should better charge commission from these people when you carry their carry bags. You think they're doing you a favor, they're giving you a free carry bag, but over there they're mentioning their brand and you are doing them a favor.
And who carries, which class of people carries this also?
Yeah, of course, VLCC, okay, this great lady is carrying it, so this has to be this posh parlor. So this also actually you do.
And what is
free
the invitation thing? Invitation, I did you mention?
Yeah, I've mentioned some invitations. For example, you get these invitations for this Bhajan Sandhya by Art of Living people.
Okay.
So Art of Living is registered over there. This is a beautifully made card which you get. So there are freebies, and then of course as kids we've all gone to stationery shops and asked those people for those free chits that we can put on their notebooks and write our names over there. Do you remember what those chits were? They were always MBDs written there. Or maybe you buy a notebook and on the back of that you have this MBD mentioned or certain brand name mentioned. So back of copies are there. Then there are sponsorships, which is so interesting. A cricket team dress was sponsored by Sahara people, and Sahara had this house color which was blue. So much so that you started calling them Men in Blue. So this is like they're sponsoring an event and then they're getting visibility through it. So now let's come to the next category, which is the innovative category. Because people are getting clever, because the world of competition is increasing, so advertising people always have to emerge and come out with new ideas. So now the first innovative category is the inserts. In your movies and serials, you have these inserts. For example, I saw these Balaji telefilm, they started with this. They had this serial Kahani Ghar Ghar Ki, and two characters would be talking about this newly launched serial which is to be launched, Kasauti Zindagi Ki. So two characters would be talking, oh, what are you doing at 8:30 tomorrow? Oh, no, I'm not going anywhere, there is a new serial coming up and I'll be watching it. Because the Tulsi and Mir have this credibility. If they are watching that serial, thousands of other Indians would also watch that serial. So you have this insert, you're promoting one of your serials in another serial. Then I also saw one other serial which was Sarkar on ZTV. There's these two little kids who are fighting over Sunfeast pasta. And their uncle comes over and he says, okay, I will make this pasta for you. And they say, oh yeah, there are also freebies for kids in those pasta. So let's all go and make it. So what happened? These serial character people are advertising Sunfeast pasta or maybe a newly launched serial. We would see examples of film inserts here.
Pooja. हेलो पूजा, LIC पॉलिसी हमारे बच्चे के भविष्य को सुरक्षित करने का पहला कदम। अब हमारा बच्चा बिल्कुल सुरक्षित है।
Now this was a film Waqt and there were these two characters, Priyanka Chopra and Akshay Kumar, but what did they give? LIC policy. This did not have any meaning in the movie, but probably the producer charged the LIC people a huge amount to show this in their movie. So all over India people would have a better inclination to this if this ad was directly given on a television screen. Let's see 3 more of these ads.
भाभी बोलो ना, एक और चाल चलूं क्या?
सिर्फ
मुझे क्या पता?
चाल और
सर दर्द से आराम लो ना। अच्छा दवा लाओ? नहीं, मैं लाती हूँ। दीदी ये सैडॉन ले लो, सर दर्द बिल्कुल ठीक हो जाएगा। एक बार चलो तो। ये दिखा?
अगर ज्यादा दर्द है तो कैंसिल कर देते हैं।
हाँ तू कैंसिल कर दे।
नहीं, उसको से होता रहता है, सैडॉन खा के ठीक हो।
So what did you hear this? Saradon. Saradon खा के ठीक हो जाएगी, दवाई खा के ठीक नहीं हो जाएगी। Saradon ले लो, दवाई नहीं ले लो। So what are they doing? They are advertising for Saradon through this movie Parinita. These just little things. In a 3-hour movie, doesn't matter if you show 30 seconds of this ad. But then this has a huge impact. Let me give you another example.
पता चला है कि एक MiG-21 विमान दुर्घटनाग्रस्त हो गया है। पिछले 6 महीनों में ये दूसरी विमान दुर्घटना है। रक्षा मंत्रालय ने इस दुर्घटना के लिए जांच के आदेश दे दिए हैं। सूत्रों से पता चला है कि इस लड़ाकू विमान के पायलट फ्लाइट लेफ्टिनेंट अजय राठौड़ की दुर्घटना में मृत्यु हो गई है। पायलट राठौड़
Sending commandos is the death of democracy. Today is a sad day in the history of Indian politics.
What you could see is NDTV. It was much noticeable. NDTV has done this with many other movies like Virudh, or any movie which has to have a TV channel, you always have NDTV. So this is an advertising way through movies. Otherwise, movie stars are very costly to be got as your brand ambassadors for your brands. But here, you get them because you pay the producer little money, you do it. In Bunty or Bubbly, you had this Amitabh Bachchan wearing a jacket of a particular brand. Maruti Swift was a car that was just to be launched then. So you had, every time they would escape from a loot, they would always be there on Maruti Swift. So these things are there. In Tal, Subhash Ghai had a contract with Coke. So in Tal you have this heroine drinking Coke. In another of his movies, Yade, they again had Coke which would always emerge whenever Hrithik Roshan opened his website. So did you ever notice them when you saw the movie? Let me give you the last example over here, which is of Spiker jeans.
क्या बात है, दुनिया कितनी छोटी है ससुर जी। इंडिया में मैं यही ब्रांड पहनता हूँ और ये पहला इंडियन डेनिम ब्रांड है जिसका शोरूम लंदन में भी खुला है।
So this was an ad for Spiker jeans. Did you notice them when you saw the movies? No. Kindly do. Another innovative kind of thing is the advertorials. All those hardcore people who do not respond to newspaper ads respond to newspaper news items. So what is done is you are given a news item which talks of a particular brand. You know, Titan is this great brand. My father used to use it. I also use it. There's a certain nostalgia attached with it. A reporter is writing a piece on it. What is he doing? He's advertising Titan in turn. And of course, he has charged Titan people to give that news item. These are known as advertorials. They were much criticized when Times of India launched them in 2003 September through MediaNet. But now every newspaper is almost adhering to them. Another kind is the celebrity endorsements. All these celebrities, they talk about your brand. They are seen in your brand ads. But then one thing, in their real life also, they cannot be seen with something else. Amitabh Bachchan advertises for Reed & Taylor. In his real life, he cannot be seen wearing Raymond's or any other competitive brand. Otherwise, his contract goes. So let us see some celebrity endorsements. This is Boost, which you have cricketers doing it. Sanya Mirza for a certain tea brand. And you have Kareena Kapoor for a hair color brand.
स्टाइल फंडा गार्नियर न्यूट्रीज जो ग्रेप सीड और एवोकाडो ऑयल के साथ करे पोषण, इसीलिए खूबसूरत निखरता कलर, रहे ज्यादा समय जड़ों से सिरे तक और सफेद बाल गायब। यकीनन बालों को दे पोषण, बेहतर कलर। गार्नियर न्यूट्रीज, gorgeous.
If you would ask me, does Kareena Kapoor actually use a Garnier hair brand? I'm very sure she doesn't. It is too low priced for such a rich lady. But of course, she says she does, and we believe it. So celebrity endorsements is something which is actually picking up because it has a lot of influence on people. This is an old ad for celebrity endorsements. I think you will enjoy watching it.
सभी लाइनें व्यस्त हैं। चुप, टेलीफोन एक्सचेंज।
देख देख, विंडो शॉपिंग कर रहा है बेचारा। अच्छा मैं टैक्सी ले लूंगी।
लूडो छोड़, हमारी सांप सीढ़ी देख। उठा उठा।
हेलो,
मेरा फोन थोड़ा सा रोमांटिक है।
क्या?
कहीं विंडो शॉपिंग तो नहीं कर रहा? बेचारा।
आप है कहाँ पे?
पीकोज कूल शर्ट, हाथ में ठंडा।
मतलब?
कोका कोला।
आएगी।
सर, मैडम ने आपका मोबाइल भेजा है।
वैसे मेरा फोन गुस्से में काफी क्यूट लगता है। क्या आपका सिर्फ फोन ही रोमांटिक है?
Okay, this was an ad for Coke where you again had celebrities. Now with the advent of globalization, there are many new categories for advertising which are coming up. So friends, I think you would understand that the categories that we have discussed just now are in no way exhaustive in themselves. They don't have watertight compartments, as Ranjit has already pointed out. You always have overlapping ads coming up, and they are in no way exhaustive. With every advent of globalization, with competition coming in, there are new things which are being thought of for advertising every now and then. So advertising is beautiful if you understand it. It is very creative if you do it nicely, but of course it is always there for the registers to be set ringing. No ads are made for awards, ads are only made for sales. So let us look at some beautiful ads as a passing comment. These are ads for Amul, which are very cute, and this little Amul baby is very famous. People like me have collected Amul butter wrappers only for these ads. So what you end up doing, for collecting wrappers, you have to buy the Amul butter. So anyway, these cute ads also end up giving this. There is a very sweet ad for Airtel over here. Just the music and certain written things. A very mesmerizing and beautifully done ad. This was creativity at its best. You of course had many other creative things which we had seen, but of course this was again for a brand where you talk about this ad and in turn you talk about the brand, you end up buying it. I would end with this saying that enjoy advertising. Advertising is really enjoyable if you can do this creativity, but of course you always have to keep your bosses happy, and the bosses will only be happy when the sales are picking up, the marketing team is giving them good reviews. So advertising, along with its creativity, it again is always a means of mass communication. It is this means of mass communication where you have to persuade people to come to your product and of course to your brand through certain USPs that you develop for your brand. You have to reach those people. And for this, last time like we discussed, you have to use the slice of life, you have to use the aspiration value. I hope you remember these concepts. We had discussed them at length last time. So this was all about the categories of advertising, but I would again mention that these are no way exhaustive. You have many more categories which come up. This was just a broad idea that I wanted to give the students.
Okay. So maybe before we wind up, maybe one question that comes to my mind is that, like you mentioned about surrogate ads and celebrity ads and all like that. So the question of ethics comes here. Maybe if you can, whether if I say that advertisement is quite unethical in nature because of the surrogate ads and even a celebrity who doesn't use that particular product. Advertising it, and is it right to point out that actually advertising is the practice of advertising is unethical in nature or not? Maybe
I think of course not only this, like I said, that there are things that you place on kids. You would always say, okay, apni mummy ko bolo Complan pilaएं. What are you trying to tell them? Your parents are bad parents if they're not giving you Complan, if they're not giving you Maggie. मेरे पापा दुनिया के best पापा क्योंकि वो धारा घी लाते हैं. Of course, that's not the case. So it even goes far than surrogate. Surrogate, when you're giving an ad, when actually it is for a different product. Celebrities who say they are using these products and people being their fans rely on them, when in fact they do not. Shah Rukh Khan doesn't drive the car he says he does. Amitabh Bachchan doesn't use that thanda cool Navratna tel. Of course he doesn't. He doesn't need to. He'll never will. But then again they do it. So if you are saying it is unethical, I think I can nothing but agree to it. It of course is. But it is again all market driven. As long as the public chooses to take it all in, it will be thrown up upon them. This is a very beautiful medium, but again the public has to be aware. In case you ever say, if you can always give a thing to the court that this ad should be banned, it is banned. Then you have other organizations like Advertising Standards Council of India or MTPC, which actually do take care of ads, but then it has to come from the public. If there are certain things which are going beyond the line, which are going below the belt, then you can always raise questions on them, and we do have law and other bodies also which are governing these ads.
In fact, I think for the students of mass communication, there is no need to worry about whether it's ethical or unethical. We can discuss obviously, but as a profession, I think advertising it's a very well-paying and very well satisfying profession, of course. So enjoy advertising. That may be the slogan. I think it was quite an interesting session. I thank Padmini Jain for giving such a nice presentation.
Thank you, Ranjit.
The students who have watched this presentation might have benefited a lot. We'll come up with yet another such presentation through teleconferencing. So do keep on watching us.
I think I can say as a winding report, we will always welcome your feedback. You can always ring up at the phone numbers that are given. You can always write to us, email us at IGNU, and we will always welcome your feedback and take up the topics in future which you wish to be taken up. Thank you so much, Ranjit. Thanks.